Wait a minute. I'm not having fun. I just spent 20 minutes walking in and out of this room, killing the same 3 enemies, hoping for a 0.64% drop. And I'm going to do this for another 40 minutes, maybe an hour. Then I'm going to do it again for the next enemy, and the next one, and the one after that, for every enemy in the game. Why am I doing this? Welcome back to Under the Hood Gaming. Today we need to talk about grinding. Not whether grinding is good or bad, that's too simple, and I don't care if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I care whether it's done well. So let's talk about something more interesting. Why does grinding feel good in some games and make you want to email the game's director and demand to know why they did this in other games? Because as frustrated and bored as I am already in Aria of Sorrow, I just finished Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. I collected every single shard in that game. Every single shard, cooked every single recipe, completed every quest. I killed over 10,000 enemies. I reached level 77. And I loved every minute of it. And now I'm playing Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, a game with nearly identical collection mechanics, and I'm about 3 respawns away from committing a crime. What's the difference? Why did one game have me voluntarily farming enemies at 5 in the morning going just one more shard, while the other makes me feel like I'm being punished for wanting to play the game? Let's start with what I was doing in Bloodstained, because on paper it sounds like the kind of thing that would make a therapist lean forward in their chair and ask some very pointed questions. Every time I entered a new area, I would stop progressing. I would farm every new enemy type I encountered for a few minutes, just long enough to see what shards they dropped, what their unique abilities were, whether they dropped crafting materials or new weapons. Maybe 15 minutes total for an entire zone to get all the shards. And I don't mean a single screen, I mean throughout the entire area. It would take maybe 15 minutes of only grinding to get every shard available there. And there was a lot of exploration around that grinding, since each new enemy itself only took a few minutes of grinding. I did this countless times throughout the game, thousands of enemy kills. This is, by definition, grinding. This is the behavior of someone who has lost control of their life. But amazingly, it never felt like grinding. It felt like I was a kid in a new toy store, and every drop was a new thing I could take off the shelf and play with immediately. Oh, this shard summons a sword that orbits around me? Let's try that right now. This one shoots lightning? Equipped. This one turns me into a train that can ram through enemies? I'm sorry, that's the best thing I've ever heard. I'm going to use this on everything forever, including bosses that are immune to it, because I'm a train, and trains don't care about your boss mechanics. Sadly, there really isn't a shard that lets you turn into a train. The combat of Ritual of the Night stayed fresh because I was constantly getting new toys and immediately playing with them. It's like if every enemy dropped a different weapon in an action game and every weapon felt meaningfully different. I wasn't grinding. I was shopping at a store where everything is free and all I had to do was kill the store owner first. Now here's what I'm doing in Aria of Sorrow. I see a new enemy, I kill it, no soul drops. I kill it again, no soul. I kill it 10 more times, still nothing. So I check online, and this soul has a 0.5% drop rate. That's not a drop rate. That's a practical joke. That's a troll. You mean you have to kill that enemy 200 times on average before you get its soul? To collect every soul in this game, I'm looking at dozens of hours of standing in single rooms, entering and exiting to respawn enemies like I'm caught in some kind of Sisyphean nightmare, except instead of pushing a boulder up a hill, I'm killing the same skeleton archer until I fully understand its life story and feel bad about its squandered hopes and dreams. As in Ritual of the Night, this is also grinding. And it feels entertaining in the way that working in a warehouse feels like exercise. Technically, maybe, but you're not doing it for fun, and you'd like to speak to whoever designed this system. So what's the difference? They're both Metroidvania games. They're both Castlevania games. One just doesn't bear the name because of dumbass IP laws, but like Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, it's a Castlevania game. They both have collection mechanics, they both require killing enemies repeatedly to get their drops, and they both reward you with new abilities. The difference isn't what you're doing, it's how the game structures that repetition. It's the difference between a well-designed obstacle course and just making you run into a wall over and over while someone with a clipboard marks down your attempts. And once you understand the difference, you'll start recognizing it everywhere in RPGs, in MMOs, and live service games that want you to log in every single day like they're your needy ex who won't stop texting. You'll start asking yourself a very important question. Am I having fun? Or am I just doing what the game told me to because I don't like incomplete progress bars? Principle 1. Good grinding integrates with natural progression. Bad grinding forces you to stop everything and question your life choices. In Bloodstained and Order of Ecclesia, here's what happens. You're exploring a new area, you're seeing what's around the next corner, you encounter new enemies. You fight them because they're in your way, and also they're trying to kill you, which is rude. Shards and glyphs drop, you get excited, and you immediately equip them to see what they do. Maybe you stop for a few minutes to see what else drops from those enemies. Maybe you find crafting materials, maybe you find a new weapon that's actually better than what you have. Maybe you find a new shard that surrounds you with ghost portraits that shield you and hurt enemies. Then you move on. You continue exploring, you continue progressing. The collection happens during exploration. It's woven into the natural flow of the game like a good side dish that complements the main course. It never takes too long to get a solid understanding of what is available. A few minutes here, a few minutes there, and then it's back to exploring. And because you're constantly moving forward, constantly seeing new areas, constantly encountering new enemy types, the farming never feels stagnant. You're not standing in a room like a security guard on the world's worst shift. You're moving, exploring, discovering. The repetition is distributed across your entire playthrough in small doses that feel rewarding rather than tedious. It's like the game respects that you have places to be and things to do, so it doesn't waste your time. Here's a shard, it says. Cool, right? Now get back to exploring the castle because there's some really cool stuff over there 3 rooms later. In Aria of Sorrow, here's what happens. You enter a new area, you see new enemies. Cool! You kill one, no soul. You kill another, no soul. You realize you need to stop all forward progress, stand in this room like you're being punished, and grind for potentially an hour or more before you can move on with your life. The game has just transformed from Castlevania, which is fun, into your shift at a job you hate, except you're not getting paid. You're not exploring, you're not progressing, you're not discovering anything. You're standing in a room that you've now seen from every possible angle, killing the same 3 enemies in the same pattern, walking left and right like you're pacing in a prison cell, waiting for the RNG to decide you've suffered enough. The game might as well put up a sign that says you must be this patient to continue. It's not a challenge. It's a test of your tolerance for boredom. Everything is functionally the same between Ritual of the Night and Aria of Sorrow. In both of them, you enter a new area and stop and kill an enemy repeatedly until you know what drops. The difference is how much time this takes, and whether it feels like a chore or like working towards something valuable. This isn't new, by the way. Final Fantasy III did this back in the 80s with its job system. You unlock a new job class, great, exciting! Except it starts out at level 1 and is completely useless. Your character transforms from competent warrior into wet paper bag with a sword. Before you can actually use your shiny new job, you have to stop all progress and grind trash mobs for hours to level it up. You're not playing the game, you're doing homework, so the game will let you play it later. Both of the approaches used in Ritual of the Night and Aria of Sorrow involve roughly the same amount of enemy killing. I probably killed more enemies total in Bloodstained than I would grinding every soul in Aria of Sorrow. I actually did some math after I wrote this, and I could not have been more wrong. Simplifying drop rates across both games, it would require killing about 11,000 enemies in Aria of Sorrow to collect 1 of every soul. In Ritual of the Night, to collect 1 of every shard requires killing about 4,000 enemies. So, Aria of Sorrow requires killing about 3 times as many enemies as Ritual of the Night. But the numbers are only part of the experience because one felt like discovery woven into exploration, where every new area was a chance to find new abilities. The other felt like a barrier preventing me from exploring, like the game is holding the good content hostage and demanding I prove my devotion first. One is playing a game, the other is filling out paperwork. Principle 2. Drop rates reveal how much a game respects your time, or how much the developers want you to suffer. In Bloodstained, most shards have a 4% base drop rate, but there's a key word there: base. Bloodstained treats luck as one of the most important stats in the game. You can build for it. You can stack luck and use gear that boosts luck. Wear the Solomon ring. By the time you're deep into the game, that 4% base rate becomes something closer to 30% in practice. Shards rain down like candy. Stacking luck is actually the best practice. The game respects that you're farming because, like many Metroidvanias, it's a game built on farming, and so it gives you the tools to make farming efficient. It says, here, stack some luck gear, and you'll get drops way more often. That's game design that respects your time and rewards the player. And because drop rates scale with your luck stat, the more you play, the easier farming gets. The game rewards your progress by making collection less tedious. Early game, you might need 25 kills for a shard, but late game with a luck build, maybe 3 or 4. The grind gets better as you go. You're getting constant feedback. Kill a few enemies, get a shard. Kill a few more, rank it up. Kill a few more, get the materials they drop for crafting. The game is constantly rewarding you, giving you positive reinforcement like a good teacher who wants you to succeed. And even if you decide to fully farm an enemy, get their shard, max its grade, get all of their item drops, you're looking at maybe 10 to 15 minutes per enemy with a proper luck build. That's reasonable. That's a commitment I can make. That's less time than it takes to watch an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I can do that. In contrast, Aria of Sorrow has souls with 0.5% to 1% drop rates. And luck as a stat? Basically useless for soul drops. You're stuck with those percentages forever. So let's put that in perspective. A 1% drop rate means you need to kill an average of 100 enemies to get 1 soul. 100. You have to kill that freaking enemy 100 times to get anything, and that's with normal RNG. Then there are 110 souls to collect in this game. The math is simple. That's 11,000 kills just for completion. 11,000. And you can't make it better. You can't optimize it. You can't build for it. Compare that to Bloodstained. There are 161 shards in the game, not all of which are dropped from enemies, and bosses of course have a 100% drop rate for their shard. You can also stack for luck, but mitigating that at the base 4% rate, that's about 25 kills per shard, so 4,000 total kills. But nobody farms at base rates in Bloodstained because the game lets you boost your luck, and it's obvious very quickly that luck is what you want. In practice, with a proper luck build, you're looking at way fewer kills. In Aria of Sorrow, you are stuck with those 11,000 kills. There are no shortcuts, no optimization. F you, kill them all. All 11,000 of them, if the random number god isn't angry at you. That's not a collection system. That's a part-time job that doesn't pay you. It's the game saying your time is worthless. Dance, puppet, dance until I decide you can stop. Some of these souls take an hour or more to drop, an hour in one room, killing the same enemy. I could learn a new skill in that time. I could cook a meal. I could start and finish an existential crisis and come out the other side a changed person. And when you finally get that soul in Aria of Sorrow, it's probably useless, like working at a job that sucks. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary. Your reward is that nothing changes and you still hate it here. And if you think this is just a Game Boy Advance problem from 2003, I've got bad news for you. Mobile games with energy systems that say, you've played for 15 minutes, now wait 4 hours or pay us money. That's not respecting your time. That's holding you hostage. Gacha games where you grind for premium currency for weeks to do a 10 pull that gives you 9 characters you already have and 1 that's useless. That's not a game. That's a slot machine that costs your time instead of quarters. And of course, you can also just pay with quarters instead of time. So it's basically just a slot machine. Live service games with battle passes that require you to log in every single day for 3 months to complete. Daily challenges that reset if you miss them. Weekly missions that demand specific time commitments. These games have turned disrespecting player time into a science. They've calculated exactly how much of your time they can waste before you quit. They've optimized it. They have spreadsheets and doctoral theses proving it. Play 50 matches. Get 100 kills with this specific weapon you hate. Complete 25 daily challenges. Log in every day for 90 days straight or lose your rewards forever. Notice what's missing? Have fun. That's not on the list. Fun is optional. Engagement metrics are mandatory. Aria of Sorrow's drop rates were just early. They were ahead of their time. They predicted the future of gaming's relationship with the player, and that future is, we don't respect it at all. The question isn't whether you're grinding, the question is, does the grind respect your time, or is it designed to waste it? Does the game value your engagement, or does it value engagement metrics? Principle 3. The rewards need to be worth the effort immediately, not potentially useful in a specific situation, not 2.3% better than what you have. They need to be worth it, fun, and exciting. When I got a new shard in Bloodstained, I could immediately see if it was useful, interesting, or just fun to mess with. Summon a demon sword that fights alongside you? That's useful right now. Oh, and as it gains levels, I can equip it, and it becomes more powerful the more levels it gains? Hell yeah! Shoot directional flames that melt enemies? Well, I'm trying that on the next enemy I see. Transform into a Playboy bunny and kick the shit out of everything? Fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Even the bad shards were interesting to experiment with. The game gives you so many shards that you can afford to play with the weird ones. You can rank them up quickly, usually with the same drops you get from killing the enemy that gives the shard, so even situational abilities become powerful with a small time investment. The game constantly asks, what if you could do this? And then it lets you do it. No barriers, no grinding for hours to maybe unlock something. Here's a new ability, try it now, see if you like it. That's how you treat a player like they're a human being whose time matters. Shards that I thought I would hate turned out to be surprisingly useful, and shards that I thought would be critical to my playthrough ended up never being used. Order of Ecclesia does this too, maybe even better. Every glyph is distinct. Every combination feels different. You're constantly experimenting with builds, trying new weapon pairs, testing which glyphs synergize, discovering combinations that feel broken in the best way possible. The game gives you a toy box full of interesting stuff and says, go nuts, and you do, because it's fun, because the rewards are immediately engaging.
In contrast, a lot of RPGs just give you garbage as rewards.
You now do 5% more damage. 5%. You grinded for 5 hours for a 5% increase. That's not a reward. That's an insult, wearing a reward's clothing. And modern RPGs love this. Skill trees full of plus 2% critical chance and plus 3% damage with swords. And plus 5% experience gain. These aren't rewards. These are rounding errors. They're mathematical participation trophies. I've never, not even once, been excited to unlock a skill that gives me plus 2% critical chance, or that makes my critical hits 25% more powerful. Sure, over time, these bonuses add up and become meaningful, but they aren't fun or engaging as a player. The game is padding its progression system with uninspired rewards. It's giving you the illusion of growth while keeping you on a treadmill. Good grinding gives you toys to play with, new abilities that change how you approach combat, builds that you want to experiment with, powers that make you feel like you've gotten meaningfully stronger. Bad grinding gives you completion checkmarks and stat increases so minor that you need a spreadsheet to notice them. Principle 4. Repetition needs variety or your brain starts eating itself to escape the boredom. Even when I was farming the same enemy type in Bloodstained, the combat remained engaging. Different enemies have different patterns, different weapons and shards require different approaches. You can try new combinations, experiment with new techniques, and find synergies. You're actively playing, making decisions, trying strategies, and your brain is engaged. You're not just pressing buttons in a predetermined pattern like you're a machine designed specifically to make the skeleton archer die. Functionally, there's no difference in the actual mechanics of grinding in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night and Aria of Sorrow. You enter a room, you kill the enemies, you leave, you come back to the room, you kill the enemies, and you repeat that until you have the drops that you want. You do that in both of these games. The primary difference, as we've alluded to, is that drop rates in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night are significantly higher, 4 to 8 times higher on average, and the rewards are simply better, and they're more interesting to use. In Aria of Sorrow, the new soul that you get isn't likely to be very useful. You're probably going to forget about it and never ever use it. Like earlier, I spent like 20 minutes grinding in order to get the dancer soul, and it gave me +4 to luck, which sounds great. However, in Aria of Sorrow, due to a bug in the programming, luck does absolutely nothing to improve drop rates or soul drops. So it's basically useless. So I spent 30 minutes grinding for this soul that I am never, ever going to use. That's the case with a lot of these souls. The result is that there's no variety, there's no strategy, there's no optimization possible except pray to RNG Jesus. You can't make it faster. You just repeat the same actions in the same order until your controller becomes an extension of your body and you forget what it feels like to have free will. It's just not engaging. Your conscious mind checks out and you're running on autopilot, which is not really a mental state you should be in while allegedly playing a video game for fun. Good grinding gives you freedom within structure. It sets up systems and lets you engage with them however you want. Farm enemies in whatever order you prefer. Use whatever weapons and abilities you enjoy and play at your own pace. Bad grinding is just following orders. Do this now. Do it this way. Check this box. Good. Now do it again tomorrow. It's not gameplay. It's a checklist that holds your rewards hostage until you comply. So here's where we need to have an uncomfortable conversation with ourselves, and I'm including myself in this because I'm absolutely guilty of this. Sometimes the problem isn't just the game. It's us. I have a completionist personality. I see a collection system and my brain immediately goes, must collect everything. Even when I'm not enjoying it. Even when the game is clearly wasting my time. Even when I'm actively not having fun. My brain sees that completion percentage and treats it like a moral imperative. 73% complete. That's basically failure. That's incomplete. That's leaving things undone. It's chaos. We can't have that. But what I need to remember, and what we all need to remember, is that Aria of Sorrow's soul system is poorly designed. The drop rates are disrespectful. The rewards are often underwhelming. The grinding is monotonous. And most importantly, I don't have to collect them all. I can just play the game, progress through the castle, beat the bosses. I can just enjoy the exploration and combat and the level design and use the souls that I naturally acquire during normal play. The game is still fun without collecting every single one. In fact, it's a lot more fun that way. But my brain keeps saying, you're not done. You haven't completed it. The number isn't 100%. There's 3 enemies back there in the area you just left for whom you did not get the souls. You have to go back and do that because that's a loose thread and you can't stop now. You can't leave this unfinished. That's not just the game talking. That's my checklist addiction talking. That's the part of my brain that gets anxious about incomplete tasks. That's the same psychological exploit that mobile games use to keep us playing. And it's something put into the game deliberately to make us need to complete that checklist. When I'm grinding for souls in Aria of Sorrow, I'm doing exactly what we talked about in the checklist trap. I'm grinding not because it's fun, but because I want to get everything. I want to see a number hit 100%. I want the dopamine hit of completion. I want to fill in all the gaps. In Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, even though I did grind for 100% of the shards, and I ranked up a lot of them to level 9, and I got the grade to level 9 in a lot of them, I did this because the shards themselves were worth obtaining. I didn't know what this new enemy would get, but the shards themselves were the rewards for grinding for them. The shards themselves were useful to use, and I never knew what I was going to get, and because of that, I wanted to grind until I got the shard so that I knew what it did. Not because it checked an item off a list, but because it gave me a new tool that could potentially be very, very useful. Well, every modern game has grinding now. You've collected 47 out of 120 feathers. The blue exclamation marks in Mario Kart World come to mind. Why do I need these? What do they do? Nothing. But the game showed you a fraction, and now your brain won't rest until it's complete. Achievement progress, 65%, thanks. I hate it. That number is going to bother me like a hangnail until I either complete it or uninstall the game. Our brains see these numbers and fractions and percentages and treat them like unfinished obligations. But completion isn't the same as satisfaction. Because when I finally get a soul in Aria of Sorrow, I don't think, awesome, let's see what it does. I think, finally, holy shit, that took forever. Satisfaction is, that was fun, and I'm glad I did it. Relief is, thank God that's done, and I never have to do it again. One is the feeling that you get after a good meal. The other is the feeling you get after finishing your taxes. A completion percentage isn't measuring my fun. It's measuring my patience, my tolerance for boredom, my willingness to waste my time doing something I don't enjoy for a reward I don't want, just so a number can be complete. So here's the self-awareness check that we need to run on ourselves right now with whatever game we're currently playing. Ask yourself, if this game didn't have a completion percentage, if it didn't have these check marks, would I still be doing this? If you're grinding for hours to collect something and the honest answer is no, I'm only doing this to see the number hit 100% or to see the box get checked, then you need to stop. You're not playing a game, you're being played by one. In Ritual of the Night, I would still grind for all of these shards simply because so many of them are useful. I want the shard. I want to see what it does. I don't care about the checklist or the box getting checked off. I want the reward itself. Not a check on a box saying that I got the reward. It's the reward itself that I want. Bad grinding doesn't happen by accident. It's not an oversight. It's not the developers being clueless. They know what they're doing. Game developers have studied the psychology. They've run studies, they've done the research, they've optimized the dopamine loops. They've calculated the exact point where you'll quit versus continue grinding. They know about completion psychology. They know about sunk cost fallacy. They know about FOMO, fear of missing out. They know about variable reward schedules and how they're more addictive than consistent rewards. They know all of this, and they use it deliberately. Battle passes are designed around FOMO. You only have 60 days or 90 days to complete this. Better play every day. Better complete those daily challenges. Better not miss a week, or you'll lose your rewards forever. And look at the structure, free track and premium track. The free track shows you what you're missing if you don't pay. That's not generosity, that's a sales tactic. Look at these cool things you could have if you just gave us $10. And we keep defending these systems. It's free to play. You don't have to pay anything. Just grind for 500 hours instead. That's not generosity. When a game gives you the choice between grinding for 50 hours or paying $10, they're not giving you options. They're telling you that they think 50 hours of your time is worth $10, less than a minimum wage. And we choose the grinding, we defend it. I'm not paying for that, I'll just grind it. Congratulations, you just chose to work for 20 cents an hour. You could work an actual minimum wage job for 2 hours and buy the thing with money left over, but instead, you're going to grind for 50 hours as a matter of principle. And I'm not saying give these people money. Look, I promise I'm not saying give these people money. I'm saying don't play the games that present this as a choice, because the choice itself is disrespectful. None of this is normal. This is all designed. It's all intentional. This is all meant to extract as much time and money from us as possible. So what do we do about this? How do we break the cycle? Well, first we recognize when we've crossed the line from playing to grinding. That moment when fun becomes obligation. When you sigh before starting your daily login. When you're watching Netflix on another screen while mindlessly farming because the game isn't engaging enough to hold your attention. When you start thinking, I need to play, instead of I want to play. That's the moment to stop. Just stop. Close the game. Walk away. It's okay to leave things incomplete. It's okay to not collect everything. It's okay to not hit max level. And it's okay to not complete the battle pass. Your completion percentage isn't a moral judgment. 73% complete doesn't mean you failed. It means you played until it stopped being fun, and then you stopped. 73% completion isn't your failure, it's the game's. Demand better. Not every game needs grinding. Not every game needs 100 collectibles scattered around the map. And not every game needs daily challenges and battle passes and live service nonsense. Some games respect your time. Some games are confident enough in their core gameplay that they don't need psychological manipulation to keep you playing. Some games are just fun, and they trust that being fun is enough. Games like Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Support those games. Buy them. Recommend them. Tell developers, this is what I want. More of this. And criticize the bad ones. Not with anger, but with your wallet and your time. Don't play games that disrespect you. Don't buy battle passes. Don't engage with FOMO mechanics. Don't reward bad behavior. The only way this changes is if players collectively say, no, this isn't acceptable. We deserve better. Be willing to quit, to refund, to uninstall, even if you've already invested time, especially if you've already invested time. Sunken cost fallacy is real, and it's powerful. I've already spent 50 hours grinding. I can't quit now. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Those 50 hours are gone. You can't get them back. The question isn't, should I waste the 50 hours I've already spent? The question is, should I also waste the next 50 hours just because I wasted the 50 previous hours? Well, don't let the last 50 hours dictate the next 50. Don't stay in a bad situation just because you've already invested in it. That applies to games. It applies to relationships, to jobs, to life. If something's not making you happy, stop doing it. Remember why we play games in the first place. We play games to have fun, to be challenged in interesting ways, to experience something engaging, to feel something, to see something, to solve interesting problems, to experiment with systems and mechanics. We're not playing games to complete checklists. You're not playing to maximize efficiency. You're not playing to satisfy a completion percentage. You're not playing to maintain daily login streaks. You're not playing to prove anything to anyone. You're playing because you want to have fun. If a game stops being fun, stop playing it. Even if you haven't beaten it, even if you haven't collected everything, even if you're only 73% complete. Your time is valuable. Your attention is valuable. And your enjoyment matters. Don't let games convince you otherwise. So I'm done grinding souls in Aria of Sorrow. I'm not going to finish the game. It's okay, but even without the grinding, Dawn of Souls seems more entertaining, as does Portrait of Ruin. I also recently picked up Gal Guardian's Service of the Dark, and I played a little of that, and that's fun. 9% of the map explored in Aria of Sorrow. That's fine. That's enough. I don't need it to be 100%. That number doesn't define my experience. It doesn't determine whether I had fun. I don't even have to finish the game. I tried it out. It's designed badly to waste my time and disrespect me, so I stopped. And when I want to collect things again, I'll play games like Bloodstained. Games that integrate collection into exploration. Games that respect my time with reasonable drop rates that scale as I make progress. Games that give me immediately fun rewards. Games that keep me engaged through variety. Games like this exist. They're out there. And they're not trying to manipulate you. They're not calculating how much of your time they can waste. They're not designing systems to exploit your psychology. They're just trying to be fun. And that should be the standard, not the exception.